All right, let's dive into an idea with a title that's, well, it's pretty bold. How to get whatever you want. I know it sounds almost too good to be true, right? So let's see what's really behind that claim. So let me ask you this. If you had to pick just one single skill, one art to get really, really good at in life, what would it be? What's the one thing that would make the biggest difference? Just think about that for a second. I mean, what comes to mind? Working harder? Being smarter? Knowing the right people? It's a big question, but the answer we're going to look at today, it might just surprise you with how simple it is. And here it is. The answer is one single word. Ask. That's it. The core idea here is that so many of us focus on being a good worker, but the real power, the real leverage comes from being a good asker. It's this simple and honestly often overlooked skill that can unlock everything else. So, what is it about asking that's so powerful? I mean, it's not just about making noise, right? It's about kicking off this powerful and sometimes invisible process. Asking is literally like flipping a switch. The moment you do it, all this machinery inside you starts turning and working to make it happen. And the wild part is, you don't even have to understand all the mechanics of how it works. You just need to trust that it does. And this quote just nails it, doesn't it? You can spend your entire life analyzing, digging around, studying the roots, trying to figure it all out, or you can just start asking and begin picking the fruit. It's really a choice about which end of the process you want to be on. Now, this brings us to a huge mental block that a lot of people have. We kind of grow up thinking that success and opportunity are these limited resources. But what if that's not true? What if the supply is just fine and receiving isn't the problem at all? What a perfect metaphor. Just picture it. Success isn't rationed out. It's not like you show up late and find out they've run out. No, it's a vast, endless ocean. There is more than enough for everybody. And there it is. That's the punchline. That's the whole issue, right there. The ocean of opportunity is massive, but our results depend entirely on the tool we bring to it. The problem isn't that there isn't enough to go around. It's the tiny scale of our own asking. So you've got to ask yourself, are you approaching life with a teaspoon or a bucket? The teaspoon mindset gives you small expectations, you make small requests, and you get, well, meager results. But a bucket mindset, that's about big goals and bold requests. And that's how you position yourself for abundance. It's time to trade in that teaspoon. Okay, so we get it. We need to ask, and we need to ask big. But how do we actually do that effectively? It's not just about shouting into the void. It really breaks down into two key parts. Think of it like two sides of the same coin. First, you've got the practical, logical part. You have to ask with intelligence. And second, there's the emotional, belief-driven part. You have to ask with faith. You absolutely need both of these working together. Let's start with the first one, asking with intelligence. This doesn't mean you need a high IQ. It just means you have to be incredibly clear and specific. You can't just mumble your way to success. You have to know exactly what you want. And I love how practical this is. You need to define your goal with real detail. How much, what size, what color, by when, exactly. When you get this specific, your goals become like a magnet, pulling you and all the right resources towards them. The better you describe it, the stronger that pull gets. All right, now for the second key. This is what you might call the childish part of the equation. And it's all about believing with everything you've got that what you're asking for is actually possible. The formula here is so simple, but it's really profound. Make your plans like a logical, intelligent adult, but believe in those plans with the pure, unwavering faith of a child. You see, adults are naturally skeptical. We're always poking holes in things. But kids just believe. You have to combine that structured adult planning with that pure, skepticism-free belief. So we've got the theory, and we've got the method. Now comes the most important part of all, actually doing it. And there's a really simple, low-risk way to start. Just try it for 90 days. That's it. This isn't some lifetime commitment. For the next 3 months, just try it. Ask intelligently, believe like a child, and just see what happens. Hey, if it doesn't work, you can always go back to your old way of doing things. What have you really got to lose? And that's really the final thought here. It's easy to keep studying the roots, to analyze and plan forever, but the rewards, the fruit, that belongs to the people who take action. The world admires the doers. So The only question left is, are you ready to start?